Boom, boom. Second half of the Dudes Like Us podcast. It is June 2nd. For those folks out there that don't know what Dudes Like Us podcast is, we are three guys, great friends. And we got a fourth. We got Chuck. There's four guys. Mr. Producer, Chuck, thank you for staying on top of stuff. It's the second half of the podcast. We just had the first half with the, what was the Hewling, what was the first half bourbon whiskey?
I've already forgotten.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot already. Wasn't that crazy?
It was a train station or something like that.
Hewling Station.
Hewling Station. By
Dominic, very small.
Yeah, Old Dominic, Hewling Station. It's bourbon whiskey. It was 100 proof. Didn't score very high, but I wouldn't kick it out of bed. But it is what it is. This second half, we have a advent calendar. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, yeah.
We'll explain a little bit more about that. We got tons of stuff to talk about.
We do. A lot of stuff's happening in the world. There's volcanoes exploding. There's drone strikes happening all over. People are being attacked by flamethrowers.
People dying.
It's crazy shit going on today.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah. Maybe we could jump into any of those.
We can't. Dudes Like Us. I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I am Jeff.
I wasn't sure if we did that or not. I was kind of like, oh, my God.
That's why you're looking at us funny?
Yeah, I was like, oh, because I thought first thing you guys are going to do is give me a hard time.
I was like, we already did
we
that.
We just said that, you stupid idiot.
Oh, God, that's the fourth time, Sean.
Loretta Swit looked kind of hot back then, didn't she?
I'll tell you what, we could talk about her real quick.
Yeah, we lost an icon.
Yeah, we had a death in the family. Loretta Swit, otherwise known as Hot Lips Houlihan. And maybe this is just me personally, but I never found her to be a sex pot for me personally.
Oh, I didn't.
At all, for me.
I mean,
even back in the day.
She wasn't on the back of the bathroom door. If
No.
So Farrah Fawcett.
But she was
Suzanne Summers.
Yeah, she was the hottie.
Cheryl Ladd.
In the M.A.S.H camp, though.
Jacqueline Smith.
Jacqueline Smith, I'm on board with.
Bo Derek.
Oh, yeah.
I can go on.
But anyway, Loretta Swit, she was big because a lot of folks, at least our age, grew up watching M.A.S.H. So
she's older than our folks. So when we were watching M.A.S.H, she was not exactly,
Well, let's say those came out in the 70s, late 70s.
Yeah.
So let's say 70s. So she was 40,
right?
Essentially,
she lived a long time,
and she was also a really cool character on the show, right? I mean, that was part of it too. She was just she had charisma, right?
Well, she did.
That character.
Yeah, it's just again, maybe it was just me, but I always thought that they built her up as a sex pot, and I just never really saw it.
I didn't either.
So she got 10 Emmys?
I did not know that.
Yeah. So Alan Alda said about Loretta stuff. She deserved all her 10 Emmy nominations. Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Her 10 Emmy nominations and her 2 wins, but more than her acting part. She created it. He wrote. She worked hard in showing the writing staff how they could run character from a one-joke sexist stereotype into a real person with feelings and ambitions.
Interesting. She probably, the people that worked with her probably thought she was a brilliant comedian, right? I mean, and just a true professional, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, how long did that season run? It ran for.
Pull up a little audio. I want to see what she talks. What she looks
For
like.
all of us, from now on, I'm number one. Me, Margaret Houlihan, and believe me, soldier, I deserve better than you.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, she wasn't ugly.
Well, not ugly, but.
She's kind of homely, I think.
Yeah.
How long did that show run? About 5 years? 6 years?
No, it was longer than that, wasn't it?
Was it really?
It ran into the 80s, early 80s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right.
And the largest TV show ever watched was the finale of
yeah.
M.A.S.H.
11 seasons.
There we go.
72 to 83, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'll tell you one of the M.A.S.H. that I remember specifically is when the first colonel got sent home.
Yeah.
He did his tour.
Harry Potter?
Yeah. Is he the first one?
I think so.
Not the grumpy old one that came in and replaced him.
I don't like when they do a switch like that.
McLean Stevenson was the
Henry Blake.
Henry Blake.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he ran his course, and they're like, "Yeah, we're sending you home," and he died. His helicopter was shot down. On his way.
That's how they killed off his character?
Yes.
Wow.
So they were having this celebration. He was excited. He was in his civilians, and in his suitcase, he got on the helicopter. They took off. They're all excited that he got to go home, and news comes in that they shot down his helicopter. Everyone's dead.
Ouch.
Yeah, so it's like, fuck.
Right? It's not exactly a comedy at that point.
No,
No, but you know what it does? It sets
real.
in.
Yeah, it made it real.
It sets in, and it kind of. I mean, look, I
it
watched
was
M.A.S.H.
war. I mean, come on.
I watched M.A.S.H. Living overseas,
Yeah.
and with in a military environment, I could just. I mean, I wasn't old enough to really appreciate it, but I can imagine what the armed forces out there were going through when they saw that, because that shit's real.
Right.
And you never know. It's like being a police officer. You never know when you're going to come home. There was a statement saying that one of the fancy things, or one of the cool things to hear when you come home, is the sound of the Velcro. When you take it off your body armor when you get home as a police officer. That's the sound you kind of want to hear. I heard it from someone on TV. Go ahead. You were supposed to say something.
Well, I was going to say that's the thing I think M.A.S.H. did well. Is it? Yes, it was a comedy, but it added some bits of realism to it as well.
Sure.
Because they were working on these soldiers that were blown to bits.
Yeah.
And they died, or they're cutting arms off, legs off, and
making jokes at the same time. And
yeah, and they showed, again, it was a comedy, and they tried to work all of that into the program, I think, to show some of the realities of the Korean War, I believe, that they were in.
Right.
Some levity, right? Some levity to the
exactly
to what was a real deal. I mean, both Vietnam War sucked, Korean War sucked. I mean, they were it was a real deal.
Yeah.
Well, you had that one guy that would dress up like a female.
Yeah, what was that all about?
That was
why
Klinger.
Yeah, Klinger.
Why was he a
Jamie
cross-
Farr.
He wanted to get sent home.
Yeah, he wanted to be Section 8.
He was always coming up with a reason to be sent home.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's why he dressed up as a woman, because he wanted to get sent home.
Yes, that's right. You know what that show sort of reminds me of? I know it's not even close, really, but Hogan's Heroes. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I never really watched that one.
Oh, I loved that show as a kid.
I watched it a few times. Being homesick from school, I'd throw it on, but I never got into watching it at all.
Yeah, Colonel Klink, remember?
Oh, yeah.
With the little eyepiece, and
Yep.
it was Sergeant Schultz. No, I know nothing. Nothing. Did you guys not watch Hogan's Heroes?
Yeah, I watched it, unfortunately, a lot, too.
Oh, it was great.
But didn't that lead actor in
Yes.
that, didn't he get busted for porn?
Bob Crane.
There was some story that
Or he was
Colonel Robert.
Or he was recording his sexcapades or something like that?
Yeah, what was the story behind him? Yeah, there was something happened.
Yeah, he got busted for something like, Bob Crane. Yeah, he got busted for, I thought he was filming his sexcapades, or I don't know if he actually made porns or not.
How about Richard Dawson, who was in there? He's a huge perv. He right into Family Feud. Remember he mugged down with the women?
Yeah, he would too.
God, yeah, he deep-throated everybody on that
He
show.
just smelled like tobacco and whiskey.
Oh,
I know he did.
Big old
You know he did.
nasty tongue.
All right, so let's close the loop on this. What happened to him? Because you're right.
Which one?
There was
Bob Crane?
Well, he was brutally murdered, for one thing.
Yeah.
Beaten to death while he slept and strangled with an electrical cord. Okay, yeah, that's what I remembered, is that he was murdered,
I thought
not that he did something shady.
No, maybe it was somebody else I was thinking of, because that's
No, it says, Hogan, autofocus, God bless it, looks at Bob Crane's life in porn.
I thought that, there was something weird about it.
Interesting.
So a lot is out there.
He was
Paul
only
Schrader.
He was only 49.
When he was murdered?
Yes.
Wow.
So a lot of radio tapes are available. All those pornographic movies he made are available. Television shows like Love Boat, Mary Tyler Moore, game shows. You can find them all. If you dig it, Schrader, I'm looking for the porn.
I don't believe those are porn.
Yeah,
Love
for the
Boat.
porn ones.
No. Mary Tyler Moore show is not porn either. I don't know.
Well,
And we're talking about Crane? Or are we talking about
yes,
the
Bob Crane.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's a little documentary that advertisements keep popping up.
So there's
Bob
a
Crane's
movie
life.
called Autofocus.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Yeah. That
It's a
talks about his,
dramatized story of actor Bob Crane. Okay. I wonder if is that true, or is that just,
I don't know.
I guess
I don't
so.
know, man. Anyone that gets woken up in the middle of the night and strangled with a cable
And beaten.
and beaten, I mean, what's that all about? I mean, that's kind of like the vengeance, like a drummer from the Billy Joel band, because he was, cut out.
Right.
That's maybe something that happened like that. I don't know. What is the story behind that? I imagine they tell you in the
I don't know. I may have to try to track that down and watch it.
2002.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. All right. Anyway, to move on to other deaths, we had another loss.
Yeah, this one I'm not too familiar with because I didn't watch the program, but Jonathan Joss,
Who
he
is?
was a voice on King of the Hill.
of John Redmond.
John Redmond.
I guess he was a Native American
he was
neighbor.
he was an Indian. Yeah, American.
Yeah, he
Indian.
was sleeping with Dale's wife.
Yeah. Again, I never really watched the show, but
I never watched it
Yeah,
either.
he was like their best friend, and all because they were friends, and he's like, and there was this subtext of him sleeping with his wife though.
apparently he got shot.
John Redcorn got shot in
Yeah,
Austin. Yes,
he was murdered as well.
John Redcorn.
Yeah.
Damn.
So he had, I think the story is he'd lost his house to a fire, and then
Yeah, all his animals died. He lost his house, and then he got shot.
Involved in a shooting while checking the mail at the site of our former home. It was burned down. Over 2 years of threats from people in the area who repeatedly told us they would set it on fire. What?
Yeah, but why?
wow,
Was he homosexual, or did he say some homosexual things? Because it says the actor's husband, Tristan Kern de Gonzalez, alleged that Joss and him were target. So he was gay
Openly homophobic?
Yeah.
Much of the harassment was openly homophobic against him.
against him.
Wow.
Says
That's
de
crazy.
Gonzalez wrote that Joss was murdered by someone who could not stand the sight of two men loving. Now I don't know the veracity of that, but let the law come out and figure it out.
yeah, no,
Dude,
we're still
that's-
kind of in the fog of war.
They're
down
they're
there.
kind of faming the
Damn
fanning
it,
the
Bobby.
flames here.
That boy ain't right.
That's right.
Wow.
Oh no, he's whacking
But
my
they're-
shed.
But they are rebooting King of the Hill with older Bobby, and I don't know if they're still in Arlen, but
So
this
Bobby Hill's voice was originally done by a woman.
fall- is that right?
And they already recorded his lines for the upcoming revival.
Oh, Jonathan
Jonathan Joss.
Yep.
Well, there you go. He gets to live on for a little bit.
Yeah, but the storyline is kind of crazy. How he would, and what was his name? Was it Dale?
Dale Gribble.
Dale Gribble. He was a pesticide individual. He sold pesticide, and Hank Hill sold propane.
Right.
And he would say, he would go to, what was the alternative gas?
Boomhauer?
Yeah. Yeah,
Or-
no, the alternate gas. Propane is a bastard gas. You know, remember, what was it? What did he say?
I
I
know.
don't remember the other
Oh,
natural gas.
He said, that is a bastard gas and unsafe for your environment. You know, the way he would say it. It's hilarious. But every time Dale Gribble's wife, or he would leave the house, the big Indian would come in, and they would he would scoop up the wife, and they would cheat all the time. It was fucking crazy. You haven't watched a whole lot of it, right?
I've
No,
never
I
seen
haven't
any of
watched-
them.
So it's,
Really?
it's based
Yeah.
loosely on Arlington, right? In Fort Worth,
Bedford.
in between
Yeah,
Fort
it's
Worth.
Bedford or Euless, someone out there. But the premise is that you got these three guys. They're standing out there, sometimes
neighbors.
four, and they're like us, and they're standing on the corner, and they all got a beer, and they're in their alley or the back fence, and they're like, "Yep."
Like
Yep.
every episode.
Oh, that's how the beginning. Ding, 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 ding,
I know,
ding,
but
ding,
they-
ding.
But that wasn't the whole show every time. It's them standing talking.
No,
right?
no,
Oh,
no. There
okay,
was
okay.
actual stuff going on. There was one where Hank Hill's wife Peggy learned that her oversized feet were a desirable thing to have on the internet, and she started making all this money with her doing feet pics.
And this is before OnlyFans too.
Yeah. It was actually, and it's just all they had. What is the daughter of Bobby Hill? Her last name was Murphy, Brittany Murphy.
Brittany
that did
Murphy
the
was
voice.
Luann Platter, as
Yes.
in the Luby's. The
And she
Luby's
was
special.
a very busty daughter of Hank Hill, and
She's dead too. Yeah.
She is dead.
How did she die again? Do you remember?
I don't know.
love
Did she have an
Jeff's bedside
aneurysm or
manner.
something?
She's dead.
She
Yeah.
is. I don't know why she died, but
I don't
I
know
thought
if
it was
they're
an
gonna say it in
aneurysm or
here.
something. It was something
I don't
weird.
know.
She was young. She was 32 years old, I think.
Yeah.
Whatever. The show's funny. I enjoyed it. It was fun. And that guy had a fun life. Crazy. He got murdered.
Pneumonia.
Jonathan Joss.
Yeah, he got shot.
Yeah.
Shot dead
Shot.
because he was homosexual, apparently.
That's weird. And that happened in L.A. That seems
No, in
odd.
Austin.
In Austin.
Even in
Which is-
Austin.
which is
Austin is
worse.
so woke right now.
Yes.
Brittany Murphy. Damn. She was
Yeah.
quite the looker.
She was young.
Yes. Oh, and confirmed Bobby Hill was Pamela Alden, who's a character actor and voice actor. But she kind of like Bart Simpson's got voiced by a woman. by-
Yeah.
Oh,
Bart's a
right,
woman
right,
as
right,
well.
I got you. That's funny.
There's a
That's
whole
funny.
lineup of voice actors out there. There's some people that have some pretty funny voices. Yeah, it's fun. Mark Hamill, known for Luke Skywalker.
He does a ton of voice work.
Yeah, I think
He
it's
does?
great. He does
Oh,
the
yeah.
Joker. That's one of his biggest characters is the Joker on Batman.
Obviously, an animated series. You're saying,
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
like, there's a new series that has come out,
It's cartoon or
like
video
a
games.
really old one, or
I think cartoons, video games.
All
shit
through
like
the
that.
'90s and
okay.
on. Yeah, so he's continuing to do it. In fact, he's made a ton of. I mean, he's filthy rich.
I'm sure.
From Star Wars. I mean, come on.
I had no idea. That's interesting.
All right. Well, so that person died. Jonathan Joss murdered horrifically.
Yeah.
God Lord.
Yeah, those are the only two we could come up with this week, which is, I guess, that's a good thing.
Yeah, there was another person. Tara had showed me a picture of her. And I can't remember who the hell she was. She died yesterday. Whoever it was. Whatever.
Well, that's the end of our death segment.
Bum, 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 ba-da,
Speaking of-
bum,
of
bum, bum.
Deaths of planes, I guess. We could talk about the Ukraine drone attack.
So the Ukraine rallied.
Not Bob Crane.
No, not Bob Crane.
Different crane.
Ukraine had rallied the troops together and launched an attack on, was it an airfield that had a bunch
Multiple.
of airplanes?
Yeah, multiple bombers.
Multiple.
Russian-
5 different airstrips.
This was well coordinated, well planned, and it was billions of dollars that got destroyed.
These are their top-notch bombers. These would be like our B-1, B-2 stealth bombers.
Yeah.
I mean, this is their top-notch bombers.
So
And what
how
they
the
did
hell
was,
did they get in there so close?
Check this out. So what they did was they smuggled the drones in. They packed them in like these wooden crates that were put on top of trucks. They parked the trucks next to the airfields, and everything was automated, right? Yep. They opened up the doors, and these drones came out of these crates and went straight to the airfield before anything could happen. There was no surface-to-air missile opportunities. There was nothing. The drones just went right in and.
How big were these drones? Do we know?
No.
Are they
Not
the
very.
big globe guys, or is this like the little shit you
The
get?
little ones.
These are little toy drones.
Yeah,
this-
little toy drones.
This is a problem.
Dude,
It is a big
40.
problem.
They took out 40 of these airplanes.
Yeah, unobstructed. So that is a problem.
It's the future of warfare, man.
It's a problem because this shit can happen right under our nose,
Totally.
right here,
Totally.
right now.
Completely.
And it could take out every single freaking house anywhere around us. Anything. It could take down water towers. Can you imagine if you had a drone attack all of our water towers in any area? Period.
Yeah. It's problematic.
It would.
And it is truly
stifle us.
It's truly unstoppable.
It's currently unstoppable. I guarantee somewhere someone's trying to
Thinking
figure how do we stop these things.
maybe part of that $1 trillion budget that the Pentagon has.
Could be,
Hopefully
but they're
the
not going to
defense-
put that in neighborhoods. They're going to be around airports,
military installations.
military,
And airports, yeah, maybe.
and shit like that.
I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the jihadist
Oh, yes.
terrorists that are populating all over the planet
Yeah,
that are looking to terrorist. Period.
Yeah.
This is something that's easy. It could be brought in anywhere. Like you said, they park a car, something pops out the top. It could be a single drone designed to travel 100 yards and do its deed, and that's it.
And
Yeah.
and depend on what kind of ordinance they can put on these things. I mean, obviously they can't be gigantic drones.
It doesn't require a whole lot for a pound of C4. A pound of C4 will
Right.
do some devastation. Depending on where it's at.
It'll definitely render whatever you're trying to hit inoperable. I mean,
Yeah.
you may
Yeah.
blow up 30% of the
I mean,
airplane,
you
but
thinking
it's not
about-
going to fly again.
You think about not just Donald Trump, but you think about any politician that's out there. These drones, they have face recognition.
yeah.
So-
There's footage out there of that working.
They have the ability to go in there, find you, and you do not require a whole lot of C4 or the explosive, whatever chemical it is, like a gram.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
terrifying.
enough. When that thing hits your forehead and it sticks and it pops,
You're
it's
dead.
kind of like that dude that took the 9mm blank and shot it on his head and killed himself. And, even though it was a blank and it was a joke, he's dead because of the compression. And that's kind of the spirit behind it. Those things are so fast.
Yeah, they are.
They have drones that have these races. They
it's
fly
crazy.
through these obstacles. It is amazing. The technology behind here.
Yes.
The agility of these things.
And for Ukraine to pull this off was a massive win for them. Massive.
Yeah, I mean, it's a win, but, no one died either, right? So, I mean, that is a success.
I'm assuming they didn't kill anybody other than just disabling all these aircraft.
So I wonder what that fail-safe thing is.
Is this just like the news helicopter kind of thing?
Yeah.
Just bringing video back? I think that's what this one is.
Oh, like a confirmed kill type of thing?
Yeah, kind of okay, let's have a TV monitor. See if this thing,
they wanted to watch this. I mean, of course.
Well, and post it for crying out loud.
No, I mean, they were very proud of this attack. I mean, be able to strike that deep into Russian territory and hit major airfields.
Well, I also heard that they hit trains and bridges and shit as well. I don't know if that's the case. I thought I heard that on the radio today.
I did hear that.
I don't know. I mean, it was an ingenious attack, but and it also shows the capabilities of this technology, but it also reveals
how scary this shit is.
It's scary, and there's going to be repercussions. And when you push someone as nutso as Putin in a corner, there's going to be some retaliation. And you know what? He's one of these guys that's going to be all in. He doesn't care.
He is psycho, man.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Right. He will kill every single one of them. He's killing his own men.
Yeah, he's just throwing
gratuitously.
He's just throwing him into the meat
give
grinder,
a fuck.
man.
He doesn't give a fuck about anything, and he's got tons of nuclear arms thanks to Hillary Clinton. In the Congress, passing that, giving him Putin 20% of our uranium.
Right.
15 years ago?
Yeah.
Was it 15? Jesus, that was a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Yes.
Right.
Trump's going fast.
And and nobody ever talks about that.
No.
And they're like, "Oh, well, you know what? That was something that was voted by Congress." It's like, whatever, dude.
Yeah, that never really saw the light of day. I don't know how. Nobody knows anything about that
It
stuff.
seems like a lot of these things get passed. It's kind of like they drop a 1,000-page bill on a table, and they're like, "Hey, look, we're voting on this in 6 hours," and you're like,
"Well, it's like who said it? We have to pass it. We have to pass it to know what's in it."
That's Nancy.
Was that Nancy Pelosi who said that?
Crazy.
About the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, we
She's
have
a
to pass
fruitcake.
it so we can figure out what's in it.
Who was the drunk guy at the bar? Paul? Bob? He was sitting at the bar at the wedding.
Oh, the neighbor.
Yeah, the neighbor. He was like, I'm too drunk to walk 200 feet to my house, so I'm just going to sit here for a while.
Yeah.
And, hell, I'd piss on a spark plug if I knew it'd help.
Whew, that Waffle House did me bad. I believe I could have shit into a Coke bottle across the room.
I just made that up. But you know what he did tell me? He
from
told
War
me
Games.
that it was, what was that from?
War Games.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for catching that. He said that he grew up on the East Coast. He was very good friends or best friends with the son of one of the mobsters. He was dishing out names left and right.
Oh yeah.
And he
Jimmy
shared
the Fish.
that Nancy Pelosi is the daughter of a mobster from the East Coast. Is that accurate?
From Baltimore.
Oh my God.
From Baltimore.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he was I don't know if he was a mobster. He might have been the mayor who was aligned with
then
the mob.
he was a monster.
So there's a lot of connections here. And he was saying all kinds of stuff. And this guy's as a retired electrician, master electrician, and he was spouting off some facts, and I was kind of like, actually, he was spouting off stuff. You know?
Right.
And I was, it just caught me off guard because he was naming names. And I was kind of toasty. I didn't catch them all. But he was saying, yeah, this was tied into there. The Democrats paid for this in Baltimore. And then all of a sudden they get shipped off to, they were trying to pass some stuff. And then Nancy moved over to California and all of a sudden became a lawmaker and went into the politics.
Right.
And that she was part of all of that. So it just, to me, listening to the whole thing, I was like, all right, this was by design.
Yeah.
Her involvement in everything.
Yeah, the Genovese crime family is her ancestors.
Great.
Yeah. So it's part of the Italian mob.
Well, and she's been in Congress for 124 years. Is that?
Well, it says there
Consecutive.
from since 1912.
Okay.
That's 112 years, 113.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, she's done after this one, though, right? She said she's not running again.
She's not running again.
Did she break
she-
her hips or something like that?
Well, if she does run, she'll
She did.
break her hip.
No, wasn't she? Did she have crutches or a walker?
She's 90. What? What did we say she was? How old is she?
Pretty old.
Yeah. She's in her 80s, I think.
So ridiculous.
You know what? It's frustrating. It's frustrating as a normal citizen that makes normal pay, and we're struggling. And she's built an empire
Yep.
off of the backs of the citizens of the United States, based
85.
on misinformation. Not misinformation, but private information, or what is it called?
Insider information.
Yeah, insider
trading.
trading. It is just
Yep.
it's illegal, and it pisses me off that she's not held accountable for it. And then everyone turns a blind eye to it, and it's just like, dude.
Well, they go, well, it was her husband. It wasn't her.
Yeah, she wasn't trading.
Oh, really?
And she swore she didn't tell him anything.
Whatever.
Pinky swear.
She just say, we're going to pass this legislation. What's going to impact this industry?
So, honey,
Yes.
Wink,
Wink.
Wink.
all right,
Full of shit.
let's talk about the Boulder attack today.
That wasn't today, was it? That was
Was it
yesterday.
yesterday?
That
Yeah, it was yesterday. I don't-
Dude,
I saw a couple of videos. I didn't see the video. I just saw kind of the aftermath.
Well, it's an illegal alien
From
from Egypt.
Egypt, right.
And he had been planning this for a year or more, he said. And what it is he waited for his daughter to graduate college to do this so
really?
that she could get her full degree, college education before he
and not be the daughter of a murderer.
before he did this. So apparently he had his little makeshift Molotov cocktails and some kind of flamethrower or torch or something, and he threw it on a bunch of these protesters who were just peacefully walking.
Yeah, these are pro-Israeli.
And apparently one of them was a
Protest.
Holocaust survivor
Yeah,
from
lovely.
one of the concentration camps.
And they're
Look at the carbon stains on the ground.
yeah, they were protesting. They were wanting the hostages back from Gaza.
Why is
Right.
That's what it was.
Why is no one charging his ass
Because
and
they're not allowed to have guns
Because
there.
they're in
and just
Colorado.
knock his ass down?
Shoot him. Just shoot him.
I mean, just
Yes, he should have been
fucking-
ventilated a long time
He's
ago.
holding a Molotov cocktail in his hands. They should have shot him dead.
Well, just someone go up there and tackle his ass so he doesn't do it again. For crying out loud! I mean, the ground is still on fire over there.
Ridiculous.
I don't know, but he's who knows what's going to happen to him. But I think unfortunately
He's planning this for a year.
he's planning it for over a year. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the terrorists who burned 6 Jewish Americans, including children and elderly, in Boulder, Colorado. U.S. shouting Palestine is in a possible terror attack today.
I know.
They're so
bullshit.
stupid.
What's
Yeah.
interesting is they're charging him with murder. Nobody has died, from what I understand.
I
They're
believe.
charging him with terrorism.
Yeah, they said they were charging him
yeah.
with murder. Now, somebody has to die for that to happen. So I didn't understand that article that I read, but
I don't know.
definitely terrorism, definitely some other crazy shit. Yes.
Yeah, so that's pretty whacked out, and they're calling him a white. They're calling him a
Yeah,
white man.
charged with first degree murder.
White Boulder man.
They're calling him a white man.
Oh, white Boulder man. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Because when you're filling out applications, because I did a shit ton of them last year, white is North Africa and
Oh,
parts of the Middle East is white,
interesting.
is
Right.
considered white.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes,
It's not sub-Saharan.
yes.
Wow. Well, that's just
But it also makes it sound worse. Oh, this was a white man who did this. No, it was an illegal alien from Egypt.
So what is the latest in Gaza? I mean, I know that they were settling on a ceasefire in a
I don't know.
and then Gaza, the Hamas said they wouldn't go for it or something. They agreed to release some hostages, but they're not going to agree to the ceasefire. Aren't they getting their ass kicked? I mean, aren't they? When is enough enough? Like, when do they just give up? Because
So the latest updates from Gaza: Israel's blocking all but a trickle of life-saving aid into Gaza. People are struggling to access Basics like food, water, medicine, shelter. All of Gaza is at risk of man-made famine. Starvation is widespread, and children and families are dying from hunger.
Yeah.
Bono had thoughts about that.
Yeah, I know they.
Bono.
It's not a pretty situation. I definitely know that innocent Gazans are struggling, right? I mean, and they're talking about when food trucks arrive, they mob the food trucks. I mean, it's a desperate situation in there.
It is.
There's no denying that, right? But damn, I don't know how we unwind from this. How does Israel unwind from this?
I want to know how it's our fault, how it's our business. I mean, granted, we stand behind Israel.
That's why.
Collectively.
That's why.
That's why.
How is it why do we need to be instrumental in fixing that? Because this is an ideology.
Well, I think
we can't fix that.
Well, I think the Gaza thing is there's still some U.S. hostages over there.
Yeah.
That's why we're involved to a bit. But I think what I've heard is Trump wants Israel to take the lead on this, but he doesn't want it to get out of hand at the same time, right? So
I mean, everybody wants, everybody, all the allies want Israel to meet their objective with minimal loss of life, right? I mean, but how you do that? They have human shields, and they put all their bases under hospitals and schools, and I mean, I just don't understand how it's gone on as long as it has without Hamas being done. That
know.
tells you how dug in they are. I mean, they are.
Well, they're hidden.
They're hidden, and they got miles and miles and miles of tunnels, and
Yep.
It's amazing.
It's probably all booby trapped. And
oh yeah,
all kinds of shit.
Oh,
I don't know.
It's gonna get worse.
I'm kind of amazed that the hostages that they released are still in fairly good condition.
Some were, of course, some weren't, but
by that you mean living,
right?
Yeah, no shit. No shit.
Any new news on January 6th?
No,
other than it was 4.5 years ago.
Yeah, nothing new.
Well,
I've seen.
they said there's going to be some bombshell reporting with the FBI's involvement.
Yeah, Cash Patel
that's
said
kind of what
something.
I'm wondering.
Yeah. I
That's
know.
what I heard.
They're teasing us, and
Nothing else.
It better be good. Well, and they're doing a full court press on the bomber.
Oh yeah, there was a pipe bomber there.
Pipe bomber.
Yep.
Like who planted those fake devices?
They never went
for
off.
what reason? Who they're connected to?
Yeah, they never went off.
No, they couldn't have. They were inert.
They were inert.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were there to cause a scene.
And that was totally not covered by the mainstream media.
Correct.
And there
Totally
was
not
two of
past-
them,
yeah.
and then they had video of the guy that did it.
Placed them. Yeah, I think they have video of
And-
them. Yep.
It was, in fact, he even went up there and told the police one was over there. He
Right.
kind of
What in the hell? That's so weird.
so he
And they
placed
had
it
the
there.
grainiest video, even though they have high quality cameras all around that place. They released this grainy, dumbed down video.
Yeah.
Where you
Just
couldn't tell nothing.
You couldn't tell anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like who's this
Unbelievable.
guy? Whoa, we can't tell because the video's grainy.
Lovely.
Oh, please.
All right, let's jump on the Bono
Roll with that.
bonehead Bono thing. So look at the little context here. So Bono was on the Joe Rogan show, and he made some statements that what we believe is bullshit. There's no support. You can't say it's bullshit because I haven't seen what he's referring to.
Sure.
He quotes surveillance, but I don't know. But the spirit of it is that Donald Trump is to blame because he cut off aid to USAID. And all these people
And
across the planet are dying.
300,000 people have died because of
Just
that.
recent report. It's not proven, but the surveillance enough suggests 300,000 people have already died.
That makes
Just
no
this
sense to me, though.
Cut off. this
Surveillance
hard cut
has proved.
of USAID. So there's food rotting in boats, in warehouses. There is this will fuck you off. You will not be happy. No American will. But there is, I think it's 50,000 tons of food that are stored in Djibouti, South Africa,
It's in Djibouti.
Dubai, and wait for it, Houston, Texas. And that is rotting rather than going to Gaza, rather than going to Sudan, because the people who know the codes or for the warehouse are fired. They're gone. And so this, I don't know, what do you think? What is that? That's not America, is it?
Well, they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
This is the problem. The problem is for sure, there have been a lot of organizations that do tremendous good all throughout the world. Also, for sure, it was a money laundering operation. For sure, there was no oversight. For sure, billions of dollars are missing. In fact, trillions that are unaccounted for, that were sent off into various.
So
they don't
good for
even
him
know
for
where
saying
because
this.
there's no receipt.
Yeah, I think he later on calls them out and says, yeah, those numbers are there's not verifiable,
No.
right?
Somebody made them up.
Yeah, so and I heard on the radio they were talking about this, that this is similar to the stat of the plastic straw. Remember when the whole thing against the plastic straw came out? Well, apparently the press got a hold of this stat that a 10-year-old made up for a research paper for school. He goes, and he's later come out and talked about this and says, yeah, I couldn't find any information on the plastic straw and how many are used. So he just made up a number. 500 million plastic straws are used daily by people in the U.S.
Oh my God.
And the press found that somewhere, and
they ran with it.
He probably, his project got posted or something like that, and that's what they ran with. That's what they ran.
That's awesome.
That's how that whole plastic straw, anti-straw thing came about.
Yeah, they found one straw in one turtle and turned it into you
And it was
all
in his
must
butt.
have paper straws.
Yep.
Is that his butt?
That's his
That's his
nostril.
nose.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's his
Yeah.
mouth.
No, it's his eyeball.
How the hell did he get straw in his nostril?
I don't know.
That must.
He must be like a coke addict. Maybe he's friends with
Yeah.
Hunter or something.
Tell you
That's
what,
a Biden turtle.
show me your friends,
His
I'll show
name's
you your
Joe.
future. So
It says turtles don't have
he hung
widespread
out with the wrong
cocaine
turtles,
problems.
man.
Yeah. He was at
So-
the White House.
This time next week, Jeff, you'll be in Wyoming.
Wyoming, yeah.
And walk us through what you're going to do out there. Just
We are heading up there to visit some friends that just got married a couple weeks ago, and they're moving to. They have a house up there on a couple acres, and they're outside of Centennial, Wyoming, which is to the east of Laramie, I believe.
Very nice.
There's Laramie. Go to the east a little bit. You should see, to the west. You should see Centennial. There it is, right there. So we're going to be there. And
oh
I
my
don't
God,
think
I'm sure
there's
it's beautiful.
Yeah, they're right in there. And he showed me a video that he took outside his window. A big ass, humongous moose was walking right by his house.
Wow.
He's like, I'm 6'1". He goes, you would come up to its shoulder. This thing was so damn big. So while we're up there, we're just gonna hang out, take it easy. They're gonna take us around, see the sights.
are these moose aggressive?
Oh yeah,
Oh, they can be.
Oh yeah, big time. He was up there, and there's a river or a creek or something like that by their house, and there's also a bunch of trees. He goes and it charged him, and because there was a mother and a baby moose down there.
Yep. They're protective.
And then the big daddy moose or somebody, but it couldn't maneuver through the trees because they had the big antlers, right? He goes, that's really the thing that saved me, because it couldn't maneuver through all these trees very well to get to me, but it was charging them. Yeah. So anyway, we're going up there. We're going to spend 3-4 days there, just enjoying the weather, the atmosphere, just taking it easy. We're going to hit a distillery up there. It's a huge ranch.
The Wyoming whiskey distillery?
No, it's Brush Creek. I don't know anything about them.
So they just moved up there? Or they're from there?
They just moved up there.
They just moved up there. So
Well, they've been working on it for a while. They did own 35 acres up there, but I think they were going to build a house on it, but the house fell through for some reason, and they were having some troubles getting someone else to build out there. So they sold that and bought this already built house on like 2 or 3 acres.
Interesting.
So
yeah, I mean, unless you work from home, I don't know how you could pull off something like that.
there's only, I think, less than 400,000 people who live in the entire state.
Yeah, I mean, it's so remote, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to work from home full time. I mean, you're not going to get a job up there unless you've got some
Unless
crazy.
you're a rancher.
Yeah, I was going to say some crazy skill that is, that's in demand.
It's very remote up there. Then you have Jackson Hole, which is over there on the west. That's, from what I've heard, is actually beautiful, but it's been
commercialized.
Yeah,
Overrun.
completely.
All the Californians.
It's Californianized, the Grand Tetons and all that stuff. So we're not going to make it there. We had thoughts of going over to Yellowstone, but you can't find any lodging there. You have to plan that out like a year in advance.
Right.
So we're
Because
like,
it's so sought after.
well, it is, and it's remote, right? It's not like there's a big city out there with a bunch of hotels, right? So you're limited to where you can stay out there by the Yosemite. So we're going to skip that. Then we're going to drive over to Glenwood Springs, Colorado, which is west of Denver.
What? How'd you choose that?
Julie's cousin lives there.
Oh, nice.
So there's Denver. So yeah, it's right in there. They have hot springs, and we're going to go visit the hot springs one day and soak, and just take it easy, man.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it's right there on I don't know what river that is, but it's right there on the river, Colorado River. Oh,
It's
Go figure that-
along the interstate.
yeah.
Very nice, man.
And then we're
sort of the Glenwood Hot Springs mineral water, the
yep, that's where we're going to go.
Yampa Spring, which produces 3.5 million gallons of water per day.
Damn, that's a bunch.
Yeah.
So it's just like that spa in the colony.
Yeah, but that's pretty hot. It said the temperature 122 degrees Fahrenheit,
Yeah, there's different pools that you can get in. I think that's the hottest.
but it's cooled down to 104.
Oh. Yeah, there's one that was really hot. And I was like, yeah, I'm not getting into that.
Yeah, that one's fucking.
That can get dangerous if you get
Oh,
too
yeah,
hot.
for sure.
Well, that one's 104 degrees, but they also have other ones that are 90 to 93 degrees that they dumb down even more.
Ah, that sounds so fun.
But your cabin, on our way back, we're going to actually, one of the routes had us going through the fucking mountains. And the other way had us going, actually, I think we're going close to where your cabin is.
Yeah.
Because you're down south a little bit next there to Colorado Springs and what was it, Fairplay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Near Fairplay.
we're not going to be as high as that because you're at 10,000 feet. And I think Glenwood's around 5,000.
Didn't something just happen in Colorado Springs?
Like what? Like something good, something bad?
Something bad.
I didn't hear anything.
I don't know.
Hopefully it wasn't something super serious. But yeah, that's a lot of driving you guys are doing.
Well, we did it last year when my dad passed away. We drove back from Tahoe via San Diego because we drove all the way down. That was a long drive from Tahoe.
Because you
down
wanted to
San
see the zoo, right?
Well, we were like, well, I have his car. I need to get it back. So we're like, let's take a week or more to just drive it back and see the sights. I wasn't working at the time. She was on summer break, so we made a vacation of it. So we went down to San Diego because she wanted to see her aunt in Phoenix. So we're looking at a couple different routes, going up through Salt Lake and coming down maybe to Moab and stuff like that. But she's like, I want to see my aunt in Phoenix. So we went down to, I was like, well, I want to see the San Diego Zoo. We can go zip down to San Diego and just go straight east at that point, hit Phoenix, stop for a night, and then, you know.
In El Paso County, something happened.
Yeah, then we stopped in El Paso as well,
El Paso County?
the city.
No. On his way back
last
from
year.
San Diego.
Yeah. But
that
that
was
is
last year's trip.
that is a butthole
Oh,
drive.
butthole drive.
Oh, it is so bad.
I've driven out to Tucson and back.
Oh, well,
and it's a beatdown.
Well, from basically, you leave San Diego and you go through the mountains and you get to the base of the mountains.
Which is nice. That's nice.
That's
drive.
nice. And then you get to the base and then you're in a desert, like sand dune desert for
forever.
And once you get past that, then you're in the same. I mean, they'll have some nice outcrop, but it basically looks the exact same
Like
all the way
plateaus, right?
It's basically all the way into fucking Texas, right?
Yeah.
So you're just like, fuck, this sucks, man.
It is a beatdown.
Yeah, it's and it's hot as balls too, man.
Oh, there's a missing Utah girl found in Colorado Springs. 3 facing charges, illegal immigrants. That's what Mike was talking about.
Did you hear what happened down at Stonebriar at the Don Julio's?
Yes.
That's
No.
horrible.
What?
So a 7-year-old girl, I guess, had wandered away from her family, and for some reason took off her shoes and got into the pond and drowned.
Yeah.
Oh.
They didn't say anything about like the situation. And you know how it is. I mean, a
I
lot
heard
of those,
she was autistic or something.
Oh, I hadn't heard
Yeah, I don't know about that.
that. Yeah, I haven't heard any of that. That's I mean, it would be nice to know what the details were. But those are the kind of restaurants and stuff where a lot of families get together after like sporting events and stuff, and they just kind of let their kids kind of run around. And and because
this was a retainage area.
I don't know. I just know that's.
Well, I don't know if were they in Don Julio's, or I know there was a pond next to Don Julio's.
Right. So I'm speculating. But
right. I don't know where they came from.
But it's not unusual. I'm telling you, it's not unusual for when those baseball teams get done or basketball teams get done.
Oh,
they all hang out at the restaurant, and the kids kind of just do their own thing.
And then they're out there just playing,
they roam
around.
And there's like a boardwalk type of place, and it's kind of nice, and there's water. Yeah, but I mean, shit, man.
Like in the detention pond at Uncle Julio's?
Yep, that's where they found her.
Yeah.
Yep.
What the hell, man?
Yeah.
So I had not heard that it was an autistic girl, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and hear.
I mean, that's deep, and there's no fence.
Yeah, she just got in.
Yeah, they found her shoes on the side.
Yeah, that's a horrific story.
Yeah.
But you know what? A 7-year-old should know how to swim, unless it was a situation like you described there, Sean. But I mean, a 7-year-old should know how to swim.
Yeah, it's
a
nightmare for a community, let alone the parents.
Oh yeah,
it's a nightmare.
Who
wants that?
No one. Awful story.
Wow. And that happened yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
This weekend. I think it was Sunday, or it may have been yesterday. I don't know. That's what I saw about it. It was yesterday.
I don't even know what today is. What is it? Today
is Monday.
Today is Monday.
Yeah, so it was. So yeah, it probably was yesterday or Saturday. That doesn't matter. It's terrible.
Terrible.
Look at that roof.
Sexy.
It's funny what you look at
So
in pictures.
sexy.
You're like, oh, that's had some hail damage.
Yeah, I look at all kinds of stuff. They got some drainage issues I could see.
Isn't that brand new though?
Yeah,
The
just
Uncle
opened.
Julio's? I thought so.
Yeah, it just opened
Yeah.
just a couple months ago.
Wow. I haven't been to it. I went to the one down on Trinity Mills and
Yeah, I've been to that one.
Frankfurt or something.
And Brandon worked out.
Oh, hold on. It's by the mall.
Yeah, it's by Stonebriar.
Oh,
Correct.
my
Stonebriar.
God. I
Yeah.
got kicked out of that one.
Of Uncle
Already?
Julio's?
I did.
Oh.
Wes and I got kicked out.
Okay.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was during Christmas time.
Oh, I was going to say we should go sit at the bar. I guess not now.
No, I mean, we can, but here's the thing. We went to, and look, this is on us. So we went to the mall at Christmas time shopping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we go into the bottom of the mall, all right? Center, bottom. They sell beer that you can walk around.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm in. And
Okay.
I buy 2 beers, and we walk to the left, and we do a circuit. We come back to the center. I buy another beer. We walk the other way, do a circuit, come back, buy another beer, go upstairs, and rinse, repeat. We do 4 beers and whatever, how long that took. Just walking around, fucking around. So we're, and plus,
in the mall.
in the mall.
Okay.
Plus, we had 2 beers on the way up there.
Right.
All right.
So let's see, 18,
6
19,
now.
22 beers.
So you
Okay,
hook a
keep
12
going.
pack in by the time you hit the Uncle
After
Julio's.
then we went over to Uncle Julio's, and all I wanted was a steak. It's just like, I want a steak, and I was trying to ask her, and there was obviously a communication barrier.
Because you were like, oh, steak.
El Steako.
El Steako.
She was such an ass. She recognized that we were toasty, and it was just like, dude, I just want a steak. Do you guys have steak? I said, we have this. And I was like, what the fuck are you saying? I don't understand anything you're saying. And I
Wow.
did not understand what she was saying. But
And she said, you need to leave.
no, dude, we had 2 beers, and then we did a tequila,
Oh, God.
and we ordered chips and queso, and then quesadillas, and then we were trying to order our dinner, and it was just like, I don't know. It got ugly, and then, Wes, and,
Boy, yeah.
it just, but the point is that we were a little toasty. Maybe that's the reason, but they did kick us. They were like, well, you guys can leave then. If you don't like it, if you don't like it, the fact that we have to stay, you can just leave. So we left, whatever. I don't give a shit. They didn't make us pay for anything too. I was offered too. I was like, look, I'll pay for whatever I had. And they were like, no, just leave.
Just leave, huh?
Just leave.
Wow. Well, that doesn't sound like a good ending.
I still don't understand what the hell she was saying.
So moral of the story is don't drink 20 beers at the mall, stumble over to Uncle Julio's.
All I wanted was a steak. That's all I wanted.
You sound like Rambo.
You should have gone to the Brazilian churrascaria right next to it. You could have gotten all the steak you wanted.
But they didn't know where they were.
Yeah.
Well, Wes was driving.
It's like right next to it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I wish I would have, because I would have gone over
That's
there.
that one right there. EB Steak.
Oh, my God.
There's
It
steak
is
in the
right there.
name.
Right on the other side of it.
Yes.
Literally on the other side of the pond.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You guys would have waded across the pond and had your steak.
know what,
Uncle
though?
Hulu should have said, "There's a steak place right next to us.
But
Go
we
over
were
there."
we
Oh,
were
they should've.
giddy. They should have. We were giddy. We were having a good time. We weren't, I guess when we get giddy and having a good time, especially you. I mean, people are kind of like,
Maybe you're
Can you
getting
tell your-
loud.
can you tell your friend, please calm
Really?
down?
I'm not here to talk about my transition. I'm here to kick some ass. Let me tell you something, Dingleberry.
Really. What's interesting is he likes to bring up the Kelly story many, many times.
I did bring that
Never
up.
once has he brought up this Uncle Julio's, getting thrown out of Uncle Julio's.
Yes.
I find that interesting, Sean.
I didn't get thrown out. They asked me to leave.
Isn't it the same thing?
Actually, I volunteered to leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the story's changing.
I know.
Yeah.
We were done with their food, so I paid and left.
Yeah.
I didn't pay though.
But they asked us to come back for more, and I
It's
said
never
no.
a good thing when they ask you to leave. But at this, we were toasty, and frankly, had they called the local peace officer, we probably would have gotten in trouble.
Right.
So there's that. I would have Ubered home.
That begs the question. When I hear the word peace officer, when did it change from police officer to peace officer?
It's the same.
Has that?
the same.
I know, but has it always been that way?
For
Because I
as long
remember
as I
somebody
remember.
saying peace officer, and I was like, "Is that like a?" You know how like those people walk around, drive around in their neighborhood watch.
That's
You know,
that's
or-
the neighborhood watch. That's
I know,
not a peace officer.
That's what I thought a peace officer is when somebody said they were a peace officer. I was like, "What is a peace officer?" I've never heard that. Did you guys grow up with that always being a thing?
I remember. I don't know when it came into the vernacular, but I always remember it being interchangeable.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought it maybe was a citizen's.
Well,
Historical
Citizens
contact
patrol.
and English common law dating back to the medieval times. So it's been around a while.
Okay, well, first off,
Well,
we're not UK.
but it's a broader term that it kind of encompasses
Been around a while.
various law enforcement roles, as the police have a very specific type of role.
And in 1845 in New York,
Interesting.
adopted the term police from the French.
Say French.
French.
French fries, and French dressing, and French bread, and to drink, ta-da, Peru.
Oh, the French. I was like, what?
Anyway, I just thought that raised a question. I was always kind of curious. When
No,
is
I've
peace
heard it
officer?
for a very long. I don't know. Again, I usually just call them police. I don't really say
Yeah.
police
Coppers.
office. Caps.
The pig.
Yes.
Pig's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't recommend you say that.
I wouldn't write.
Now, we got a lot of respect for the police. We really do. You know what? What would we do without them?
Exactly
Oh,
right.
dude, huge respect.
Yeah,
Huge
those guys,
respect.
they run into it.
The shit they have to deal with, like
Yeah.
these guys at Uncle Julio's.
Oh, my God.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I volunteered that information. You know,
It's not going back into the bag.
That was a mistake. Every time you throw out Kelly's gonna be like, "Well, not as bad as Uncle Julio."
oh, it was way
Oh,
worse.
my God, I didn't do that. Anyway,
Yeah, but I think we bought a bunch of stuff at the mall, though. It was fun, though. And we did like fucking 8,000 steps at the mall at the same time.
there we
It's a
go.
great workout.
A lot of people do that.
Offset that step with the beers, though.
That's what a lot of people do. They go to the mall and they just walk the mall.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, it's like an exercise.
I got my
But-
mom. When my mom broke her hip with her cancer, she was housebound for a long time. And I went up and visited. I was like, we're getting you out of the house. And I got her out of the house, and we went to the mall, and I pushed her around the mall for a couple hours.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So I was like, you got to get out of this house,
Oh yeah.
you know?
For
So
sure.
we did. So we did.
Yeah, I give my brother credit. Both of my parents are invalid, basically. And he gets them in wheelchairs and he gets them in the van and takes them to church. And
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you have to, you
Yep,
know.
yep.
You know, It's a good thing.
Those beers were expensive at the mall too, by the way.
Of course.
Jesus. But I tell you one good thing that came out of it. Ooh, damn, we got to talk about this real quick.
We do.
Yeah.
Oh, you got delay. Hey, Chuck, push back that time. We've got 3 minutes left. Let's push back that time. Before we do that, in the mall, I have the cups. So every time we went there and got a beer, I took like an extra 6 cups. So what I'm going to do now is I have them in my office right now. I'm going to take 2 brand new fresh cups and take them there. We can pour beer in there and just walk around with our beer instead of paying $28 a dollar.
Oh, because it looks like you bought it from that establishment.
Yeah, because it's got the little logo on there. But anyways, let's talk about our advent calendar whiskey of the night for the second half of the podcast.
Yeah, this is, where's the bottle at?
There you go.
It's a beautiful bottle.
Yeah, it's very stout. It's very thick glass. It's got a nice wax top and the wax pool on it. But this is from Preservation Distillery, which are the same folks that do, I think, the old St. Nick whiskeys, and they do, it's all pot still up there, I believe. And this is one that is only at the distillery. It was a very small batch, according to what they were saying. And this is a wheated bourbon. It's aged 6 to 7 years. It's just called Preservation Estate Pot Distilled Kentucky Bourbon. So
67 years. That's amazing.
Yeah, 67 years. It's very dark, very good hue.
Yeah.
It's essentially just solid wood.
Yeah.
Sap.
Yeah.
Sorry, 6 to 7 years.
So this is wheated bourbon.
Yeah, this is a wheated bourbon. Proof is 114, 115. I can't read that. It's someone's chicken
114.6.
Chicken scratch it in there. But I had this. I tasted it at the they had a little tasting bar over there, right?
Sure.
So I was like, because I was looking at it and it seemed interesting to me. So I was like, "You have this to sample?" And he did. He pulled it out, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm getting this bottle, and it wasn't. A lot of their stuff was really expensive for whatever reason. This one wasn't as expensive. It was around $100, $110 or so, I think, for this. Everything else was like $200 at this place.
Wow.
So,
That's good. Well worth it. And
Yeah.
it was a great purchase.
Yeah.
And we're enjoying the hell out of this. So Preservation Pot Distilled Wheated Bourbon offers a rich, complex flavor profile. Notes of, I'll wait. Let's do this. What are we tasting here?
well, when we first poured it, the nose was not good.
It scared me.
Yeah, it was not good. And when I sat down here and smelled again, I picked up a lot of vanilla.
Yeah.
Now that it's opened up, a ton of vanilla. I even wrote it down.
Toffee.
Yeah, that's
Jam
another
with
good
some
one.
toffee. Got some anise back there.
I got to be honest. It's not an impressive nose, but
It's not a real.
but it surprises you.
Yeah,
It's raisin, kind of figgy nose.
Yeah, I was gonna say fig or like prune, maybe. But if we can move on, the tasting notes say baklava, and when I heard that, I said, "Oh yeah,
baklava.
baklava." Have you ever had baklava?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I could pick that up.
So that's a sweetness. I mean, that's a sweetness with what? With
Well, that's
like brown
It's
sugar.
a syrupy
and-
brown sugar.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I could get that.
Yeah. Dark cherry, kind of like a stone fruit kind of essence.
Weathered cherry.
weathered.
Yeah. Cherries that have sat out there for like a week.
They're all desiccated.
Actually, I'm dipping into some winter green here. This is terrific. I'm
It's
enjoying
complex.
this.
It's very complex.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on
Yeah,
here.
there
It's
is.
not as viscousy. The legs aren't as believe it or not, the prior one we had in the first half was had a little bit more viscousy to it. But this is still good. I'm trying to see that glass a little bit.
Well, just dump it out.
I already did that once today.
It's unfiltered too.
Well, this is
Oh, it is unfiltered.
yeah. This is 100.
Oh, that matters.
114.7, and it's smooth, but I'm picking up spice on the back
Oh,
of the
yeah.
throat back there, right? That kind of
It's a
lingers.
hot cinnamon kind of
Yeah.
lingering.
It goes down. There's no burn on the tongue or anything like that, but it's like in the back on the uvula kind of a thing, way back in there is where I'm picking it up.
Little
It's-
tannins.
It's great. It's really good.
So
very rich.
What
very
are
tasty.
it says it's a mild barrel char.
So that's
Like
2.
maybe a 2, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Doesn't really say.
They have some information on the back. It says
Do you need
tasting notes. I can't read that because it's ridiculously.
Let's do some light. How's that go?
It says unique, viscous, 1 to 3 barrel batches, and caramelized wheat toffee, deep toasted oat, and honey butter is what the tasting notes on this one here.
So tasting notes, unique, viscous, 1 to 3 barrel batch. That is crazy. Lot number 5. Merco single batch pot stilled. Merco. Is that Merco? Looks like
Is it
Merco.
micro, baby?
No, it's M.I. Looks like a V or R C.O. The distillation process. So it looks like Merco single batch pot distilled. Like you said, 114.4 proof. And it says Bardstown, Nelson County, Kentucky. The region.
It was in Bardstown. Preservation is a little southwest of the city. I mean, it's Bardstown, but it's a little southwest. It's south of Heavens Hill.
What made you pick this one? This is kind of unique, like a smaller distillery.
We just went in. We didn't do a tour. I wanted to go in there, and I did research, right? And they said it's small, it's nice, and they've got some really interesting things for sale there. So I went in there.
Did you talk about the mash bill?
No, I did not.
So the mash bill says local artisan corn, harvest wheat, dark toast malted barley. That's the mash bill that's claiming. Doesn't give you a ratio though.
No percentages.
No.
Yeah, but when I first walked in there, it took me this. I didn't see this one at first. I was looking at everything, and I was like, God, everything's
$200.
really expensive in here. I was
Yeah.
like, damn it. Then I saw this, and I was like, all right, let me go taste it. At least it's around the $100 range. And I was like, wow, that's really good. So I was like, Julie gets up and goes over and grabs it to buy it. So
Nice.
yeah, she really liked it.
So what was the other stuff? The $200 stuff?
Well, it's like the old Saint Nick, the very old Saint Nick, and stuff like that. The Waddy Boone stuff.
Hey, did Scott Cash open up a bottle of that Saint Nick at his house when we were over there?
I don't think so.
He's got like 2 bottles.
Interesting.
Yeah, we've got to poke him on that.
Yeah, they had.
We got to get him to the podcast.
We needed
dude.
another outing at his house. That was so much fun. It was like middle school night for us.
Oh,
We're
frickin'
jamming on
playing the
drums and we're
drums
playing
and-
stuff and we're like messing with stuff and
Chuck's
Yes.
gonna have to bring his guitar.
Yeah,
Yes.
some of these rare perfections were not cheap. I can tell you that.
interesting. Oh wow, got some high proof there. 126.
I like how they have the
132.
sell sheet. All right, well, you know what? This is fantastic. Preservation. What are we going to slap a label on this thing? What do we want to do? You go ahead and start it off there. Preservation.
Yeah, there's no.
Pot stilled wheat
It's
bourbon.
just preservation is the name of the thing. And it's got a big ass longhorn on it, on the front.
What are we calling this?
As far as rating,
How much time we got, Chuck?
I think I would give this a 7.3 for me. Considering this is around the 114 mark, I'm about 7.3, 7.4 on this.
I was going to go 7.7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 7.8. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Wow. Enjoying it that much, huh?
So much enjoyment that
Good
I
God.
wonder if they got picked up on the mic.
I'll make sure it does.
it did. Yeah, you need to enhance that.
Did you?
I had a chimichanga with extra beans.
Yeah, chimichanga. No, this is really, really good. Again, if you're up there, I recommend picking up a bottle. You're not going to find it down here, unfortunately.
And that's another thing that's kind of neat about these experiences, right? The
Right.
distillery only picks,
Right.
right? So that's another thing.
Well, that's what I tried to stick to. I mean, there's a couple out there that don't fall into that category, but I tried to get the only ones that are only Kentucky or only distillery type of stuff.
So some of our listeners that don't know about what we're doing right this second, and I probably should have prefaced this, but if you listen to us every week, you probably know that this particular bottle, and these are called the Advent calendar, at least for the next 3 or 4 months.
Right.
So Jeff went down to Kentucky, and he bought a bunch of whiskey and came back with the whiskey. And we don't want to know what the whiskey is, because I know as excited as you were, I was even more excited not knowing.
I was ready to pull them all out and show them to you, and he starts like, no!
Yeah, wait. There's like Christmas. Every single Tuesday podcast, it's like
Something
Jeff
new.
unveils a new one. And it's so exciting. I'm telling you, every time you do it, I'm just like, we would have wasted all of that on the first night. I mean, it's still excited to taste it. But for those folks out there that don't understand, that's what this is. This is the second half. And I think we're going to kind of stick to this to make it the second half because it's exciting.
Right.
And this one truly is a gem. Period. This one's great.
It's good.
Yeah, I've been anxious to pull this one out. I thought about saving it for one of the last ones, but I couldn't wait any longer.
Oh. You know what's
try it.
interesting about this bottle, and I don't know what the bottle itself is. It's got when you lift the bottle up and you reach underneath it, it has that.
Oh yeah.
It's a deep well in there.
It's like
Yeah.
a wine bottle, right?
It's shaped like a wine bottle, sort of like a Bordeaux bottle. But I'm kind of like, but what is the function of that deep well on the other side?
I think it's just to add weight. I mean,
the
it's
concaveness.
It's well, I don't know, but it's a heavy bottle, especially down
it's
at the
dense,
bottom.
yeah.
Especially down at the bottom, it's not. It's good and heavy,
That's a good question, though.
but I don't know what
That is
purpose.
very.
But I don't know
But
what
that one's like
purpose
really
it's-
deep, isn't
It's
it?
really deep, actually.
I was like, why is this so deep? I didn't get
Super
that.
unique bottle.
Paul, you don't stick your wiener in it.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
God,
I wasn't going to, but
you're chode.
now I'm thinking about it.
Yes.
All right, we got time for one more. We're not doing. Did you guys hear about that Jurassic World movie that's coming out?
No,
Apparently, there's a couple good movies coming out soon.
I know there's
Jurassic World and the F1 one with Brad Pitt, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. The F1 looks interesting. Again, I'm a fan. I should say I'm a fan of the Netflix show. I don't know if I could sit there and watch an entire race on TV.
It's interesting.
I think I could watch it live.
The Netflix show is awesome.
Yeah.
Watching it live is a total disappointment.
It's not as exciting.
I'm not going to lie. It's
Yep.
a total disappointment.
Yeah, it's not as exciting.
I
I've
think
tried.
I've actually been to in downtown Dallas. They had a setup. This was like 20 plus years ago, and I sat out there and we watched it. It's amazing when these cars fly by.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
It's crazy.
In person, it would be very impressive.
And you got to think about it's not just it is the experience of being there, but it's the experience of being there, watching the cars. But there's also some drinking going on and some fun.
Yeah,
it's
an experience.
like in between. It's kind of you can hear it coming around the corner. When you got 50 cars in a lineup, and they're separated by 30 seconds, and all of a sudden you got 10 seconds, and then 40 seconds, and then 10 seconds. It's just like. Every few moments, there's something coming by, and they're going so fast. It's crazy.
It's insane.
And it's to wrap your head around the out-of-hand coordination to be able to move the steering wheel, to get around into to when do you apply the brakes, when do you not apply them, how much gas do you keep to step on, to spin around some of these corners. Sometimes they strategically will step on the gas to make them spin out a little bit so they can get around some of these corners.
Right.
It is crazy. These guys are talented. There's no way around that.
Yeah, I know in the Netflix show they show some of those agility and hand-eye coordination things that these guys go through, and they have full, just workouts around that. And they have these trainers. Have you seen those in the program? They have these full. It's like a video game, except it's this huge cage, and they're actually driving the car, but they're in a house, like a video game.
Right.
And they're getting swung around and everything. So,
I mean, even when they're in the cars in the show, it feels like, it's got this square little thing that they have. And
the steering wheel.
Right. And they remove it and
it's essentially a computer.
I know. And it's.
What the steering wheel is?
Yes. And it seems very video gamey.
Right. It's got all kinds of lights and shit going on in it.
Yes.
Buttons and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, so they change gears and everything through the steering wheel?
Everything's up there.
Wow.
It's all
like an Xbox
gamey.
controller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, they were showing what they do in their downtime. And one of them was just hanging out doing F1 on the PlayStation or whatever it was. Of course, it's not like what they have in the car, but it's
Right.
pretty damn close.
Well,
Some of those video games do.
Yeah, I mean the NASCAR folks do it too. They train on the track they're going to run.
Right.
Yep.
To get their timing down, to get their
Isn't that crazy?
when they need to let off the gas, when they can go full speed or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember watching a movie that was based on they did a contest, video game people contest, and whoever won in the game.
That was Gran Turismo.
Yeah, yes.
I never watched it, but yeah, Gran Turismo.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It was not a bad movie.
Oh,
and it was
Gran
apparently
Turismo, really?
And it was apparently based on like a true story.
Yeah, it was a true story.
Where the video game guy got into an actual car and he really struggled at first, and there was like a bad wreck or something like that. But I mean, he ended up doing pretty good.
Yeah. Well, you can't account for G-forces when you're sitting in your house.
It's a little different.
Yeah, I'm more in the style of watching some of these movies, the Talladega Nights style with Will Ferrell.
Yeah, a little lighter fare.
Oh, it's more fun. I'm gonna crawl up on you like a spider monkey. That's funny. Love that. But those two actors in there, Will Ferrell and what's his sidekick's name?
John C. Reilly.
Yes, that's him. John C. Reilly. What a freaking nut.
He's as good as Will Ferrell in that movie. He's awesome.
Well, they also play, what is it, the brother-in-law,
stepbrothers?
Stepbrothers.
That is so funny.
That's where they stick their nutsack on his drums.
Yeah. Don't touch my drums. Isn't that what he said?
Yeah, and he puts his nutsack on them.
Right. Of course he did.
Yeah.
Of course, they see all the nutsack. Well, look, I'm a little slurry. Oh, you guys already...
Yeah, we're already done.
Well, remember, you had an extra pour because you
that's right.
spilled
It was
yours.
all, dude, come
Spilled
on.
it in my throat.
Check us out on Facebook and Instagram, Dudes Like Us, or The Woodcraft. Dudes Like Us on all the listening platforms. You guys
Yes.
are wondering.
We're everywhere.
Everywhere.
Oh, what just happened? Was that me?
Ooh, it recycled.
I think that's the extension.
Yeah, the
Wow.
music recycled.
God bless. Kind of like that. All right, well, Chuck, thank you. This was a great one. We shout out to these guys.
Preservation.
Preservation. Thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
Nah, we're good.
We're not going to be here next week.
Nope. I'll
Nope.
be in Las Vegas.
So are we going to be 2 weeks out?
I believe so. I should be back. I should be back by then.
Well, look, I hope you have a good time. We're going to make sure that we fund whatever you bring back. And we fund you from the last trip you took. Dudes Like Us, I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Jeff.